the idea for it came up in a hot tub.
When I said, can we talk about anything? You said, yeah, let's talk about anything.
Yes. I am giving you permission to use my face. One of my stunt guys he's the body double for the Mandalorian.
Someone tag Judo and let him know that Darian asked him for a fight. Are we getting a second tornado trap?
It will change the meta a little bit. How's that? I was that close to almost giving something away. Hello,
guys. This look who it is. It's Darian. Mac's biggest celebrity so far. Loki, definitely. Guys, I'm going to miss the chat. It's already flying so quickly. We'll crack on with the questions. But Darian, welcome. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I mean, it's 10 o'clock at night here in Finland, so I think the sun is just about to go down. But it's an unusually warm summer day that I think it's about 12 degrees out right now. So... we're dressing a little summery for this weather. So apart from that, doing pretty good.
That's taps off weather in Scotland. You know, that's no t-shirts. You know what I mean? That's time to get suntan. So perfect. Happy days. Darren, we've got so many questions. So I put a tweet out asking for questions, and I've got millions. And quite contrary to what I was told by some other people, when I said, "Can we talk about anything?" you said, yeah, let's talk about anything. Now, you may not answer it all, but I can ask you anything, which is pretty cool. I'm going to go totally off script. I gave you a whole load of questions in advance, but we're jumping straight off script straight away because I saw a tweet at about 5 o'clock today. Supercell have released a game, and it's not one of those 3 games that you made a big fuss about.
Yep.
What's going on with Everdale? Tell us about that. Just, I'll be bluff about that.
Well, so Everdale is a new game that... we've just soft launched, and I guess if I had to describe it, if the kind of game that you like is along the same vein of something like Heyday, or like if you like the village building aspect of Clash of Clans, it's something along those lines where you are, there's this very rich universe of characters with personalities. You build your village, you join. They call valleys, where it's like a bunch of other villages joined together, and you all kind of cooperatively build up a community based on trade and organization and negotiation and community building. It's a very fun and addicting game, and we just soft launched today.
It's I think it caught me by surprise, and it caught a couple of people. I think everyone had their eyes on Clash Mini, Clash Quest. And the other one that, of course, like Clash Heroes, which I immediately couldn't remember because I'm trying to ad-lib. And and then out of nowhere comes a tweet saying, "Oh, by the way, here's a new Supercell game. Crack on." So awesome.
in the 3 Clash announcement video, we did specifically say that we're not only working on Clash games, and these 3 games aren't the only things that we're working on. So we did warn you guys.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you told us all along. That's what you're saying. Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Right, so we normally start...
It is the first time we've had this many games in beta soft launch simultaneously. Like, before this we had Rush Wars, and then Heyday Pop, and before that was Brawl Stars, and then Clash Royale. So I don't think we've ever had this many games coming out in beta simultaneous in our entire company history. So it's pretty exciting times for us as well.
Ah, cool. And there's a question later on, but I feel we're on this topic now, so I'm going to ask it just now anyway. How many new Clash games have you got, or not Clash specifically, how many new Supercell games have you got sort of in various stages at the moment? Sorry,
that's a bit of a trick question. So I can't really say how many games are actually in development at Supercell. Mainly because many games that we have in development may not make it past the early design document stage. So how a new game works, in fact, I actually see this kind of as one of the questions, if you don't mind me kind of jumping ahead a little bit. How does a new game
work?
Okay, I'm more than happy to explain that. So each game team functions like its own independent company. So like the Clash team doesn't report to anybody else in the company. So every game decision on the Clash team is only made by the Clash team. Whether it's a new feature in the game, any kind of economic decisions, everything that goes into Clash of Clans and that goes on with Clash of Clans is solely decided by the Clash team, not by any other outside influence, whether it's executives, shareholders, other game teams. They give us advice and they give us their input, but nobody else has any other input or nobody other design decision on the game. So, and there's a very specific why I say that. So, that's true for every other game in the company, whether it's Clash Royale, Payday, Boom Beach, Brawl Stars, Clash Quest, Clash Mini, Clash Heroes, any other game that we have in development. So, how does a new game come about? Let's say I'm a programmer and I have an idea for, I don't know, a cat lover's dating sim.
Okay.
And this is an example I've used before called, Felicitous Feline Finder or something. I don't know. And let's say as a programmer, I have this idea. Now, I may be talking to an artist from Clash Royale, maybe a server programmer from Brawl Stars, and we might, we all have this idea that we think this is a game that could work. So there's sometimes some ways where, we leave our current teams, we sit down, and we form a brand new cell within the company. From there, that team, in a very bare bones amount of people, whether it's just one designer, one programmer, one artist, and they put together what we internally would be called a tech demo or an internal playable, where it's more of a proof of concept, like here's the idea that we're working on. They share it with the rest of the company. We give them feedback on whether it's something that's viable or not. We think like, okay, this has potential or this doesn't. From there, if we think it's not viable, the game usually gets killed right away. And there's in the 4.5 years that I've been at Supercell, I've seen a lot of games killed internally. Some of them that I really wanted to see come to release that I was really excited about just get killed because it just didn't make any either business sense or they couldn't find a long-term model for that particular game.
Right, yeah.
But if it does have potential, they start gathering more resources internally, whether it's getting another programmer from another team, getting another artist from another team, and they start building something into a soft launchable product like Clash Quest. And that's where we're currently at right now. So it's this very organic process. There's no really specific set way of doing it. It's usually just a bunch of people have an idea for something, and they just try to make it happen in the best way they can. I think it was either Clash of Clans or Clash Royale. One of them was the idea for it came up in a hot tub, where a bunch of people were sitting around like, it would be cool if we could do something like this.
Yeah.
And they just made it happen.
Nice. I think that's all really interesting. So, you did say when you released those 3 games that they're not guaranteed to come out, but it feels like with the amount of, it's a very different approach where you're talking so openly about it. The teams are communicating so openly about it. Is it likely to come out, or do you think that approach has meant that it's got some momentum behind it, or are we still not any more sure?
So when we put a game into soft launch, we work under the assumption that we're working towards a global release, meaning we're expecting to put just as much marketing behind it to make it as popular and as basically as desirable as possible. Like we want people to play it within a certain context. And when I say by context, there's a reason why we don't release it to every single country across the world to soft launch it. We only do it in very specific countries. And what we do is that we test player behaviors that mimic certain regions. For example, why do we release in Canada? It's because the player behaviors in Canada mimic those of the players in the US, one of our largest player base regions.
But you only have a much smaller volume.
Exactly. Yeah. And you only have one chance to make a first impression. So we want to present the game in a much more polished final format for our bigger markets, because it's much easier to shift directions with your smaller markets.
Okay. There's for me nothing more frustrating than seeing games arrive in Sweden or Finland or closer places, very very close within touching distance, but not in the UK. But I totally understand from a business point of view, but it's so frustrating from a consumer.
I totally get it. I know people want to play Clash Quest. They want to play Clash Minis, Clash Heroes. We understand the frustration. But our soft launching is not meant to get the game into as many hands as possible. It's specific for very, very targeted research. Even the way we do our social media posts, the kind of marketing campaigns we do, the kind of even like Google algorithm, YouTube algorithm, user acquisition studies that we do, it's all very, very calculated for a very specific reason. A lot of technical stuff goes on behind the scenes as we soft launch in a certain country. So it's not just like, okay, here's the game, let us know what you think. No, there's very, very a lot of technical analysis that goes on.
Yeah. Awesome. Right, man. We've totally ruined the order of the questions and everything. We're going to go back to where I intended to start before I threw Everdale at you. We know about maybe we don't. We'll maybe talk about how you got the job and all that a little bit later on. But when did you start playing Clash of Clans?
Ooh, good question. I started playing in 2015. So I'd been in PC game development since 2006, 2005, 2006, where I started off at Blizzard working on World of Warcraft and Diablo and all the other franchises that Blizzard has. And then from there, I left Blizzard after 8 years working on the PC game called Star Citizen. If anybody's familiar with the startup crowdfunded game. And during that time, that's when I met the woman who would eventually become my wife. And every day she would open up her mobile device, check her war base, do farming attacks, do clan war attacks. And at the time, working in PC game development, my brother has been working in console development for about just as long. He worked at Sega, now he works at Sony. So we've always been console versus PC kind of master race gamers. So in my head, my initial prejudice was mobile games, that stuff's for kids.
Yeah.
And every day she would check. I'm like, "What are you playing?" She's like, "Clash of Clans." I'm like, "Isn't that kid's game?" And for like the first couple months, I always made fun of her for it. And until like, you know what? If she's playing this game, I should play with her. And as soon as I downloaded it, it was game over for me from that point forward. I was pretty hooked, and I was a hardcore Clash player. She was actually my wife, or she eventually became my wife, but she was the head of multiple clans, like feeder clans. She was one of the top pushing clans for a long time. She's even kicked her own kids out of the clan when they skipped their war, when they missed the war attacks. She was a bloodthirsty clan leader, really super competitive. And it was about 2016. It was Christmas of 2016 when I saw that they were looking for a community manager. I looked at the opening in the app, pointed out, she's like, "Should I apply for it?" And she was like, "Hell yeah. Like, it's in Finland." She's like, "Even better. Let's get out of here." The rest is history.
Nice. Mate, yeah. I remember I was a bit like my working with the forums is that I hardly posted anything because I got very frustrated because I could never remember my login. So I used to read lots of the forums and never post very much because I could never remember to actually write. And I remember seeing that ad, and it was one of those things where I thought, "Oh, that could be interesting. I like this game. That could be fun." But my thought was, it's in Finland. That's a long way away. And you obviously went, "That's in Finland. Amazing. Let's do that." Yeah. Holy moly! Sorry, Clash Ninja. Thank you, man. Clash Ninja has just thrown a whole load of gifted subs, guys. I'm gonna miss everything that people are doing in chat, but thank you so much, man, for gifting all those subs. Sorry, Darian. Yeah, there's the chat's just bouncing along, man. It's awesome. You got gifted a sub as well by Big Vale. He threw a sub your way. He found you in the chat. So there you go. So you now have access to all the emotes. Although your face emote is a follower emote, so I think you're following me. You'll have access to that, but I don't know if you can see it bouncing around. That was like my favorite picture I've ever seen. I think that's scripted.
And that really is disturbing. But yeah, I guess Clash with Boss ET said, "Can we keep this?" Yes, I am giving you permission to use my face for Nemo.
Awesome. I am keeping that face.
Something I've never said in my life.
Thank you so much, man. Jaffe, thank you for follow as well. The next question, we are going way off topic. What's your favourite Town Hall level?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm really enjoying Town Hall 13. Maybe it's because that's where I'm at right now. But it is my favorite. I'm enjoying it. I'm about maybe 80% of the way fully upgraded. So upper Town Hall 13 at the moment.
Nice. That's what is it about that? That's just, is it just because you're playing it that you're enjoying that just because you're discovering new things, or is it?
So before I started at Supercell, I was one of those ones who basically parked at Town Hall 9. And like
Right,
so many
yeah.
people, yeah, because it's such a balanced Town Hall level. And I was terrified of the paradigm shift that's called Town Hall 10. And when I interviewed, in fact, it was like our community manager, Monica, was like, well, we kind of need you to upgrade. And I'm like, no, I plan on it. I plan on doing that. I was just a little scared of it. And once I kind of got over that fear of just trying new stuff, I still wasn't a very good attacker, and I wasn't really good at base building. And it wasn't probably until Town Hall 12 or Town Hall 13 where I really started diving into some of the meta. And well, I can't hold a candle to, the esports players, but it was Keisuke, the Japanese YouTuber, who showed me a really interesting Queen Walk attack. And then Monica, our community manager, she kind of fine-tuned it a little bit. And for some reason, like, I just fell in love with this particular way that I use a Queen Walk. And what I did that when I was Town Hall 12. And when I went to Town Hall 13, I just discovered that it was even more effective because now I had more troop space.
Right, yeah.
And I didn't have to change anything. And I just fell in love with that tactic. And it's pretty much my go-to pretty much every time.
Well, you've kind of answered the next one then. What is your favourite strategy in troops? So it's what you combining that Queen Charge with?
Not Queen Charge, Queen Walk.
Queen Walk. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how do I start my Queen Walk with a baby dragon, 3 witches, and a couple bowlers just to kind of clear some stuff around one of the corners. Then whichever one has the closest amount of defense to it, I'll send the queen with the healers after to just start clearing around the edges as the baby dragon, the arch, or the witches and the bowlers start clearing this way. I'll send in a wall wrecker, loaded usually with ice golems and a couple giants, followed by 3 yetis, a bunch of witches, and a bunch of bowlers, the Barb King, the Grand Warden. And I usually save my Royal Champion for do some extra clearing. And the goal is just to open up open up all the defenses so the wall wrecker just goes straight through. It's probably more effective with a log launcher, but the log launcher to me is just a little too squishy.
Right, yeah. You need to warden with it, don't you, to just keep it alive a little bit longer. Yeah.
So I just love using the wall wrecker just to go straight through. And I can do fairly well. Like I said, I'm not the best attacker, but I do pretty high 2 stars and 3 stars on a regular basis.
Nice. There we go. I like that. So that normally I just get someone saying like, "Oh, I love Hog Riders because they shout Hog Rider or stuff like that." And you gave us like an entire attack guide there. I'm like, might have to like make a video on that attack, and there you go, sorted. Anyway, so what I normally ask, this is the last one of these sort of quick. They're meant to be quick fire. These have been like we're like 20 minutes in. But what we normally ask is like, where did your name come from? Now I don't know if you want to give away your in-game name. You might get, I don't know, you might get hit with a load of friend requests. But maybe like your Twitter handle or something like that. I mean, I'm normally surprised by how interesting people's names are. So even the ones that I think are going to be quite dull. So have you got a story you want to tell us about that? Do you want to tell us your clan, your chief name? Or are you going to keep
sorry,
that?
I can't.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No. Yeah, no Supercell employee reveals their in-game identity. You never know. You could be playing with one of us, and you would just never know it. And the main reason, obviously, for
that's exciting.
well, for privacy reasons, but also, if they knew who we were, like let's say you were my clan leader, and I was in your clan, and people knew I was in there. Imagine how many requests you would get for people to join on a regular basis, ongoing. People, can you unban my account? Can you give me free gems? Can you give me a free Town Hall 14? Now imagine thousands of those messages a day. Not just.
You know what? I'm amazed. We have not seen many people asking about unbanning accounts in the chat. Normally, I see every time you tweet, you get about 1 million questions about that. So yeah, go on then. Tell us about like your Twitter handle then. Although I think I know the answer to this. So
what is your hypothesis?
I think it might be your name, or is it not?
The Devourlick?
Yeah.
It is. It's actually tied to a previous game that I worked on.
Ah, okay.
And I had asked if I could be one of the monsters in the game. Actually, specifically, I asked if I could have one of the items use my name because having a martial arts background, there was a martial arts character. I wanted to ask if I can get a martial arts weapon named using my name.
Yeah.
And he said all the items had already been named. But we put Darian or D Vorlick together. That in itself doesn't sound really terrifying. So we kind of changed it to Devourlick.
Ah, see, I love it. There's always a name. There's always a story. It's so cool. Awesome.
So yeah, that's where it comes from.
Ah, brilliant, man. We have got loads of people hanging out in here. We've got Lady B. We've got Clash Playhouse in here. Awesome. So there you go. You get a wave, Lady B, in Clash Playhouse. There we go. Welcome, guys. Lady B has just exposed that Captain Planet in ATN is actually you. She's just said that, but other people are claiming it might be Boom's other account. But so we'll never know. So there you go. Now trying to read your face and work out if that's like a smile of panic or not. So we'll bounce ahead. I had a whole load of questions about you, but we kind of covered a lot of them already. But tell us about you. Just talked about your martial arts background there. How good are you at karate? Well, I don't know if you can scale that. That was a viewer question that came in, so let us know.
I've been doing martial arts since I was 7 years old, and I'm an old man now. I'm almost 46, so almost exactly 40 years I've been doing it. During my prime, which is probably like age 15 to about 25, I was one of the top competitors internationally, and whether it was in fighting or forms, and also there's a kind of a sub-genre of martial arts called tricking. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's like mixing gymnastics with acrobatics and martial arts. And the idea, it's like almost like breakdance battles where people do like combos of acrobatic tricks modeled after like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all these crazy acrobatic things. And you basically try to do the best combo possible. And then whoever has the best combo is usually the winner. So the group of martial artists that I was a part of, we were the ones who created tricking by trying to defy tradition. Because we were told you can't put jump kicks in traditional routines, so we decided to make our own sport out of it. That led to doing some like movie stunt work for a few years, and at that point, I just got a little too old. Like, in fact, a lot of my stunt team that I was a part of, you've seen them in the Marvel movies. You've seen them in one of my stunt guys he's the body double for the Mandalorian. One of them is for Black Panther and the Falcon. So a lot of them have continued going on to doing more professional stunts where I went into the video game industry. But we've done a lot of motion capture for video games and movies.
I'm kind of speechless with that. That's very cool. That's like the coolest thing.
It was another lifetime ago.
Gaz Tomo has asked, which I think might be the best question, and the question that you're not allowed to try and shirk out of this one. You need to give us a straight answer on this. Do you think you could take down Judo Sloth? That's the question.
I'm a kicker. I have very long legs.
Nice.
If I can keep Judo at a distance, I think I have a chance. But because he does judo, if he got in close and prevented me from kicking, I'm horrible at grappling, so he would basically own me from there.
Oh man, I think we need to see that. That needs to happen.
Forget
the party wizard and the grand wizard, grand warden. That's what we need to see next time.
Judo's too nice. I wouldn't want either of us to kind of besmirch each other's honor on camera for this.
All right, okay, just an off-camera one thing. Perfect. Lady B says range troops for the win. There we go. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And if Judo turns up now, that'd be awesome. Someone tag Judo and let him know that Darian asked him for a fight. Right, okay, where we got? Last one in this sort of section. What is the best thing about being the community manager, and what is the worst thing? You can pick them. You can answer in whatever order.
Okay, I'll start with the worst. The worst is seeing frustration from players, knowing what that frustration is, and not being able to do anything about it fast enough. Time, and I've said this numerous times on the forums, on Reddit, and AMAs, time is always the one resource we never have enough of.
Yeah.
We've got scores of other resources that we need. It's just time is never the one that we have enough. We want to fix everything all at once, and we just can't. Like the analogy that I've always loved using is that, if to make a baby, it takes 9 months of development, or for a baby fetus to develop into a baby. So if you have 9 pregnant women, you don't get a baby in 1 month. The same applies in game development. You understand what the reference, or what it's inferring, right? So adding more people to a problem, or to a situation, does not make the problem solve even faster. So when they say, "Well, just hire more developers," hiring more programmers doesn't make the code problems go away faster. So it's not a matter of how many people we have; it's a matter of just how much time it takes to do it. And knowing that I see so many people going, I want this, or this would be great for the game, knowing that there are certain things that we're working on and we just can't say anything just yet, or we're just not at that point and we want to get there at some point. Like that's the part that I hate, is just seeing the passion, the excitement of what people want to see happen and not being able to do anything about it.
And the best thing?
Is there a best thing? Oh, can I think about this one for a second? No.
Yeah, of course.
Probably my. So let me differentiate. There's a best thing, and there's my favorite thing.
Oh, okay.
The best part of the job is announcing new content.
Cool.
It's one of the things I love about being a community manager. One of my favorite things is, like, when we announce a new update, new content, and we sneak peek it. It's like, I feel like Santa Claus delivering presents to people. Like, it's seeing that joy and the excitement of, oh my god, that's so cool. Like that for me, that is my fuel to keep doing this job. I love that so much. And the development team loves it. Like when they hear those accolades of seeing, like, someone enjoying something or someone excited about something, it makes us feel appreciative of the feedback, but it also makes us really happy that we feel like this is something that is working out. We're glad we chose this direction for the game, like Operation Blue Skies, clan games, magic items, even the gold pass, new town hall levels. So that's really cool. But my favorite part is, and this is going to sound really cheesy, so forgive me, but it's doing stuff like this, like being able to talk to fans who are so passionate and enthusiastic about the game that they feel the urge to create content, whether it's a live stream, a YouTube channel, strategy videos, wikis. Like the fact that you guys are so driven by this game that we make to do this, that is mind-blowing to me. Like it, and to be able to talk with you guys about that to me, like, that makes me excited to talk to you guys. Like, I love doing this stuff because awesome. I get to talk to you and hear what makes you guys excited about it.
Well, that's what I was saying before we came on air, and I was just like, I cannot believe that. I just assumed that you'd be behind the content creator wall, if that makes sense. The I'm not in the Supercell program yet, and yet you're on my stream, and that is just huge.
All you had to do was ask.
Yeah, man. Perfect.
I mean,
and I did.
It's why I have a Twitter account. So, I mean, I love when people reach out and like, hey, do you want to be on the show? Yeah, of course I do.
You prepare to get a lot of tweets probably saying that, yeah. Right, okay, so we've got something a little bit different now, something we've not done with anyone else. Drew, Drew You Clash, I think that's his name. Drew, anyway. I can't remember his full name on Twitter. He suggested, he threw in the question of what's your favourite Scottish accent. Now, that led to some ideas, and what we've got is a bunch of Scottish words. Now, there's not loads. I've got a few Scottish words for you here. And the idea is to just, see how good you are at guessing what they mean. And, I've got a nice mix here, man. So we'll start you off nice and easy. But you up for doing this?
I thought you were Welsh.
Bring it on. Do you know what Welsh for microwave is? Poppity ping. Poppity ping.
Do you know what microwave in Japanese is?
No, go for it.
Ching. So that actually sounds racist. I know it sounds racist, but it's actually it's the onomatopoeia, the sound of the bell of the microwave going off.
Well,
so
that's
in Japanese,
that's exactly what Welsh is as well. It's the poppy that you pop it in and it pings, poppity ping, and that's what they named it. It's incredible. It's awesome. I love new languages. Anyway, sorry. First question for you. First one, nice easy one for you. I. What does I mean?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. I need a scoreboard. Bing! Right, scoreboard comes up now. And maybe on YouTube I'll edit that in. Right, okay, next one a little bit harder. That was just to sort of lull you into false social security, to be honest. Next one, a little bit harder. Scunnered?
A generally unpleasant person.
Oh, okay. Well, so a scunner is an unpleasant person or something that you don't like. Scunnered is kind of it's something that you are to yourself. You might be scunnered, you might be just knacker. I'm using another Scottish word to explain a Scottish word. That doesn't work. Like stumped or bored or tired, kind of run down, that sort of idea. But, I like that.
I heard scunner, and I didn't hear the end of it. So
yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, there we go. Okay, next one then. Bok.
Spell it.
B-O... Well, I've made this spelling up. I have no idea how to spell this. I only say it, I don't spell it. B-O-W-K. Bok. Do you want it in context? Do you want it in a sentence?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh man, that's stinking. That's going to make me pure Bok-like.
That didn't help at all. Are you even speaking English? I'm just going to say excited.
Oh no, it's the other way. So it's kind of the opposite of excited. It's to either throw up or to dry bulk. Yeah, so like
dry heave.
That's like dry heave. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is.
Okay.
So there we go. Next one. This is the difficult one. Actually, I gave you one easy one. The rest are all quite hard, mate. I've just realised. Chori.
Can you give it to me in a sentence?
Right, a wee Ned might say this. I'm going to go and chori that car.
Steal?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that was too easy a sentence, wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Dreich?
It's not tied to like fate or fortune, is it?
No, not really.
Like to weave something?
It's atmospheric.
Because I thought I'm pretty sure I've heard that used in terms of someone's weird.
No, it's Dreich means it's kind of a weather type, so it's like if it's a bit dull and grey and raining, it's pretty dreich today. Scotland has a lot of different words for rain. Like the Eskimos have like a million words for snow. Scotland's got that with rain. So dreich's like a fine, almost like being in a cloud. That it's a bit dreich today. It's
fine mist. Okay.
And the last one for you, dinna ken.
Didn't come? Or can't?
I'll give it to a sentence. I didn't ken the answer to that. There you go. That's far too easy. Oh, no. Yeah, that was far too easy an answer. Yeah.
Wait, what was that last one? The
didn't ken. So ken means no.
Yeah, K-E-N. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I've heard it with other Scottish accents, so I knew the ken part. But
the Dinny threw you off. Yeah, this lady be coming in on the on the delay with the correct answer after we've already said it. So, pretending she's on a delay, that's what she's doing there. Right, happy days. Well done. I think you got, I don't know, I think you won. I don't know what you won, but yeah, you did all right.
Yeah, maybe got one. I got 2 or 3.
Yeah, you did okay, man. You did okay. Right, okay, we've got a couple of different sections. We're going to talk about Worlds because that just happened, the pre-qualifiers. And then we also have basically a whole section of viewers' questions, which is a proper smorgasbord of stuff. We're probably going to run out of time, man. So if you need to go anywhere, if you get tired, let me know. But
you got me for about 20 minutes.
Nice, happy days. So, Worlds. The teams this month, once again, completely different from every other team. There's a Finnish team in there. We've got Tori in there. We've got JX Tiger. Were you expecting this when you guys came and sort of set this out? Were you like, oh, we'll see different teams every month? Or were you expecting, like, obviously the top teams to be in there all the time? How did you see this playing out in your heads?
Well, for start, let me put this full translation out, or transparency. I'm not the esports community manager. That is handled by a different person and a different community manager, but I do try to stay on top of it as much as I can. And I've been watching the esports since we first started doing the World Finals. What was it, 2018 or 2019? 2019.
2019.
Maybe, yeah, when we did our World Finals in Hamburg. And what was funny about that first one is that we kept seeing the same teams over and over again. If they didn't qualify for 1 month, you'd see them back the next month.
Yeah.
Where this year, we're seeing so many new clans climbing up there, and that has us really excited because it feeds into what the original goal behind the World Championships was to try to not only just find the best clans from around the world, but the idea that anybody can do it. You don't have to be this elite pro esports team to do it. If you're good, if you've got 15 of your good friend or 14 other friends, including you, and you're max level town hall, you have a shot. You have a shot at this, and it's cool to see all these different clans coming up each month. It's awesome.
I'm so surprised by it. I mean, when I was speaking on the show with guests after the main one, we were talking about, well, obviously next month, MCS will get the gold ticket. They've got a silver ticket just now. They'll get the gold ticket next month, and then Space Station Game, and they've essentially got a bronze ticket. They'll get given that silver, and that'll be what will happen. And then I'm like, well, what happens when Space Station Gaming get it? And Space Station Gaming haven't been back, and neither have MCS. It's incredible. It's such a strange thing.
It is
bizarre.
But it also keeps things exciting. We looked at the format of how we've been doing the previous monthly qualifiers, and we sat down with the partner that put this all together, and we wanted to find a way to make it even more accessible for a larger number of clans. And a lot of it, because of that format that we've created, like that's why you're seeing all these new clans coming up. It's made it so much more accessible to clans who just come from all over the world.
And so was that the idea, was sort of moving into this in-game sort of function, as opposed to moving away from ESL and trying to put it within the game to try and just sort of open up that accessibility?
I mean, that's what the Clan War Leagues was always about. When we created the Clan War Leagues system, so you have to work backwards from that update, where we actually wanted to create the Clan War Leagues years ago. Like, it was something that we had an idea for, like this competitive ladder system, but we also saw that a lot of players weren't upgrading, so we needed to create a faster way for players to upgrade. That's why we created magic items.
Yeah.
But we wanted, because we wanted to create a Town Hall 12. So we had to speed up the way people progress to Town Hall 12. Once they get to Town Hall 12, then we can create this competitive ladder system. So it was like there's a very serious logical stairs leading to the Clan War Leagues. Um, so that was always the goal in mind, was to kind of create this system of competition and prove once and for all who's the best. And that's always been the driving mission behind the Clan War Leagues. However, we're a game dev studio. We're not an esports studio. So the reason why we partner with different organizations is that these are the teams that have the esports experience. It's better for us to rely on their expertise rather than start an esports team from the ground up and kind of fumble our way into it. We'd rather just hit the ground running with a partner that knows what to do. And that's what we feel we did.
So it's interesting that CWL, Supercell CWL, has always been in your mind, because I think quite a lot of, from the esports community, quite a lot of the stuff we hear is that a 24-hour war day with 15 players is a very different format from a 5v5, now 45-minute war.
Yeah.
Is there plans? So when I first saw the Worlds sort of stuff coming out, I mean, I make some wild sort of guesses, predictions. With the combination of Clash Peril, I stumbled across that pets were actually going to be a thing that came in. But the other side of it was that I predicted that, or maybe Champs 1 is going to go down to a 5v5 24-hour war day. Now, I understand why that doesn't work, because 24 hours for 5 hits is like possibly the most boring thing in the world, because there's only 5 hits to go in. But is there more development to come in that, or is that something that you guys are happy with? That you're happy with that sort of transition?
I would say for now we're pretty happy with it. So why the difference between 15v15 and then on camera it's 5v5? Well, one, nobody wants to sit around on a live stream to watch 15 attacks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of logistics and timing and keeping viewership. On top of that, when you have 15 players per team, if they qualify for one of the qualifiers, they have the opportunity to narrow it down to their best 5 with a reserve member, 6 people. Where if we just had it 5v5, if one person can't make it, that team is pretty hosed.
Yeah.
So it's more a matter of logistics and making sure that the competition can proceed as one, smoothly as possible, and two, it does kind of help teams kind of like, all right, who's the top 5 that we want to bring to this? It does mean that 10 other people are kind of left out in the cold a little bit, and it is. I don't want them to feel like they've been burned by this system, but it's a matter of like, very few people who are only casually interested in esports would want to watch all 30 attacks from both sides.
Yeah.
Like 10 attacks is already long enough.
I mean, I had a little chuckle to myself there when you said that. The competition that I run is called Family Feud, and it's 20v20 in 2 hours. So when you said, no one wants to sit through 15 war attacks, I'm like, oh. A little bit of me died inside. Anyway. People enjoy it, so sharp. Anyway, I've totally lost where I'm going. So this has all been online this year, and that's obviously to do with COVID.
Yeah.
When do you expect, or when are you hoping to get Worlds back on the live stage? And if you do go back to it, would it be a monthly live stage thing, or would it be a whole load of online stuff with a big final on stage? Sorry, that's like 3 questions.
That's a multi-part answer. Let's start with the online thing. So that's a tough one to predict. We had hoped to have an offline event this year, but the world's still pretty much in a state of chaos at the moment. And it doesn't, and COVID may be with us for a lot longer if things don't improve. It's an unfortunate reality that this is the world that we're stuck in right now, and it sucks. We would love to have an offline event. We had so much fun at the Hamburg World Finals. Like, the entire Clash team was there, mingling with the players, mingling with the teams. It was one of the greatest nights of the Clash team's history. Like, we truly enjoyed that night so much. We still talk about it. And to us, that night, watching the finals in person is still the benchmark for our World Finals events. And it's the only time we've ever been able to have one. Last year, we did the online one. And for the content creators, they had a separate stream that they could watch, and I got to be the host for that for 8 hours a day. So I apologize to anybody who had to watch that for 3 days. Um, Full disclosure, I was actually dealing with a collapsed disc in my neck, and the entire time I was on camera, I was actually in excruciating pain. And anytime the camera cut, I was actually in the corner, almost bawling my eyes out. And then as soon as the camera was back on, I'm like, "Hey, everybody, we're back." It was fun. But as far as when we plan on doing it again, um, again, that's up to where the world goes from here. Depends, hopefully, people get vaccinated, and that helps us return the world to normal. It's gradually happening, but not as fast as we'd like. And as long as that there is a risk, obviously, the safety of our attendees, the safety of our players, that's always going to be at the forefront of our minds. And as long as that there's any kind of risk to our players and competitors and attendees' health, that's just not a risk we want to or need to take.
Yeah.
So
No.
for the foreseeable future, it's going to be an online event.
Yeah, it's it sucks, but yeah, that's it's kind of where we're at, isn't it? So people are actually asking in the chat for about the hit rate. So they go on let's talk. I'm sure you get asked about hit rate quite a lot, but it's pretty high at the moment. Are you happy with the hit rate as it is? I mean, I'm saying it's pretty high. I watch esports side of things, so it's we're seeing the occasional perfect war. Very rarely perfect draws, but we're seeing like 14, 15 star wars. Like one fail can be the difference. Is that where you're happy with it being, or are you constantly tweaking it?
So I don't think the team is ever truly happy with the state of the game, and that's why we do balance changes, introduce new troops, new levels, new defense levels, new trap levels, change things around. There's never going to be a state of the game where we're just absolutely perfectly happy with it. There's no such thing. It will never exist. With so many complex parts, so many different random inputs, so many different things, there will never be a point where the game is so perfectly 100% balanced. It's virtually impossible. So with that in mind, everything that we do when it comes to balance changes, monitoring the state of the game, it's all data driven. Now, our designers and our programmers, they watch the world champion or the world qualifiers, and they see what the end game meta looks like. But we also look at a lot of data sets every single day. We have several data scientists on the team that pull hit rate stats. They pull, what troops people are using, how they're using them, how often they use them, what the percentage of success is with those particular troops. And when we see certain trends skewing a certain way in an unhealthy manner, that's when we need to step and say, okay, this is not good for the meta. We need to change this a little bit. Now, the changes that we make may not be obvious for starters. For example, like, why did we do a slight buff to Town Hall 9 Dragons? A lot of people are like, why did you do that? And let me give you the reasoning. At Town Hall 8, people are still using dragons very heavily. So when you go to Town Hall 9, it's more of kind of a security blanket to help people kind of wean off dragon attacks. It still keeps them effective, but while you're learning other attacks, you can still kind of rely on that security blanket. Like, I know how to use dragon spam. So it's all about maintaining a certain particular curve of progression, whether it's certain strategies, what troops are being used, hit rates. There are very specific algorithms and data sets that we look at. When it comes to the end game, the models may not be the same as what we look at for Town Hall 9, but a lot of the same philosophies apply. So we look at data on certain troop usage, victory rates. If we see, let's say, perfect wars are becoming a normal thing, then obviously some either defense needs to be buffed or offense needs to be nerfed. We'd rather buff than nerf. Nerfing is never fun for anybody. We don't like doing it. The community doesn't like it when we do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because if someone's invested in something and then it gets made weaker, yeah, exactly. Especially if they spent gems or books or whatever on getting it done quickly. Yeah.
Exactly. And buffing something kind of feels a little bit less painful.
Yeah. So the thing that I found interesting is that everyone was talking about that, the next thing to get a new level will be Hogs and Miners, because Town Hall 14 hasn't got a new Hogs and Miners level, sort of level yet. But what we've seen just recently is that people are getting to such a grip with Town Hall 14 that actually I've seen 3 stars with mass Hogs. I've seen 3 stars with Alex, thank you, man, gifted 5 subs. I've seen 3 stars with hybrid as well. So if that's coming, and I know it's an if, but if that buff is coming on the ground side of things, are you going to be buffing troops at the same time? There aren't many, buildings at the same time. There aren't many buildings that need a new level. Are we getting a second tornado trap? I think that's what I'm trying to ask. That's what keeps popping up in Twitter a lot of the time. Are we getting a second tornado trap? There we go.
No.
No. Okay.
At least not anytime soon. It's not anything that we're working on. It has been proposed a couple times. One of the frustrating things about Tornado Trap is that no player likes losing control over their gaming. And that's what Tornado Trap does. It forces you to lose control over your troops for a certain amount of time. And it's one of the most frustrating things as when you're attacking. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. So we kind of want to limit things that make you lose control of your attacks. So I don't see us adding a second Tornado Trap yet. It may happen in the future. We do have another update planned for this autumn. It's not going to be a major content update. It'll probably be about a medium-sized one. So you'll just have to wait and see what we've got planned.
I can't believe you're not given even just a new troop or anything. Too good at this, man. Like giving away anything.
it will change the meta a little bit. How's that?
Nice. I like that. That's good. That sounds confusing. Right, okay, we're on to viewers' questions now. There was a lot, and most viewers' questions, they translated that to being update suggestions or stuff like that. Now I've cut a lot of that out or stuff that I've heard you being asked before. I'm not really interested in sort of rehashing things that you've seen before, but we've got some hopefully some new things in this. This was an interesting one. Where are you active now after the forums have closed? Where can you find the latest? Where can I find the latest news? And will you end up doing more Ask Me Anythings or more interviews to improve the communication? Quite a long question, but will you do more stuff like this?
I've hermetically sealed myself off from the internet after the forums closed. No, I do miss the forums. I enjoyed it, and it was really sad when we had to close them down. But I am on Reddit. I'm on Twitter. Where else am I on? Instagram. Discord. Twitter is probably the one that I'm most active on, just because it's a lot easier. Reddit is where I do a lot more in-depth answering if there's specific issues that need addressing, and that 280 character limit on Twitter just isn't long enough. Reddit is probably the one that takes the place of the forums in terms of when we do announcements, when we announce clan games or we announce sneak peeks. Reddit's the place that's gonna kind of take over for that. I'll still be doing AMAs on there. Yeah, I mean, again, losing the forums were unfortunate, but the way we communicate is still gonna be the same.
Yeah, it was just one of these things, wasn't it? People were just using the forums less and less. It was just couldn't keep it going anymore.
The numbers were abysmal.
Yeah. Go on. The next one is from Ben. Ben asked a few different ones. In fact, I think there's one later on as well. But the Supercell store, it's like you talked about rolling out games in beta before. You got the Supercell store sort of half rolled out at the moment. Gold passes cheaper. The ability to gift gold passes from a content creator point of view is incredible. When's it going to leave beta? And the answer that you're going to give me is we don't know. But are there any?
The answer is I actually can't talk about it for very specific reasons. So
that's rubbish.
You just have to pretty much wait for announcements on it. We're not allowed to talk about for very, very specific reasons, and I apologize for that.
Okay, right, no worries then. I was going to ask about merchandise as well then, but that's probably under the exact same.
No, like merch is actually very different. Merch. So a lot of the merch stuff is handled either by our San Francisco, or it was handled by our San Francisco team. They did all the licensing and merchandising for all of our IPs. Um, Merchandising is a very difficult and complicated beast. So it's actually started shifting back over to each individual team on how we want to do our own merchandising. So, for example, like Brawl Stars does their own collaborations with the Korea office on different stickers and things like that. Clash of Clans, we may do something completely different with a different vendor. So it's a bit of like the way Supercell functions. Everybody does everything a little bit differently.
Okay, cool. Okay, I like that. That's good. Okay, right. Oscar Saka. This is an interesting one. He says, hint about a huge complex update which has been postponed to next year. And then he puts in bracket, before anyone asks, the official German Clash of Clans Facebook channel, I don't know if it is official or not, wrote it a few days ago, 90% of the development team is working on it. How big is the update? Is it for the main village, builder base, or clan? Is there something huge coming next year?
Really?
Is that a nod?
So we did say, in fact, I specifically said that 2021 was going to be a banner year for Clash of Clans. And I absolutely meant what I said. Like, that included Town Hall 14, and we had a lot of very specific things planned for this year. Part of the reality is, we're all working from home. Like, this is not my Supercell office. This is my office at home. And working remotely away from everybody when you're not sitting there having the organic conversation with your teammates every day does tend to cause, certain slowdowns. On top of that, there are some features that we're working on that are, we've been actually working on them for a long time, and they're incredibly complex. And I don't want to promise when they're coming out, when they're going to be released. It's one of those things like, we've got something awesome, but I don't want to talk about it yet because I almost said something.
Oh, go on. Oh.
I had to catch myself. I was that close to almost giving something away. You were the first person pretty much to almost get me to slip. I'll give you.
So close.
So close.
Just type it in a DM to me. Cool. Excellent.
It's the cat dating sim I mentioned earlier.
Yeah. That's why pets were introduced. Right, okay.
Well, if you remember the April Fool's video where the actual pets, that was meant to be a tongue-in-cheek sneak peek, knowing that we were working on the Clash pets. In fact, the cat Loki that was in that video was actually named after my cat that passed away last year. In fact, a year ago yesterday, actually, which that just reminded me that was really hard. Yeah, sorry. That's going to make me kind of get a little emotional there for a second because it was really sad. But I lost my train of thought. Where were we? Take it away, dude.
You were about to tell us about the big... No, that would be me. That would be mean. See if I jumped on that. So we'll just move on to the next question. You answered that one well. You avoided it like an expert.
Can I answer something in the chat?
Yeah, of course you can.
I don't know if that's Hythluck, Hithluck, or at least Y in Finnish is pronounced Huthluck. Yo, please let us FC with heroes when they're upgrading. We felt that was a slippery slope. Like, if we allow it here, why don't we allow it in the game itself? We're very careful about how much ground we give with very certain features, like being able to upgrade heroes, or be able to use heroes when they're upgrading. Like, we want to maintain a very specific stance about something, and we feel like, if we gave ground on certain things, it becomes a slippery slope of giving ground in other things, and we just don't want to get into that slippery slope. So with certain things like being able to upgrade or use heroes while they're upgrading, we took a stance on that, and we want to maintain that stance for a very specific reason. So
okay, no, that's fair enough. You know what? I'm going to skip that one because that's another huge question. You kind of already answered it. Okay, this is a good one. Daza has asked, will we ever see Supercell do lower Town Hall Worlds again, like we did on the build up to the first 5v5? I think it was on the release. Was it when Town Hall 12 came out? I think that was the year. Can't remember, but basically it finished. So we had Town Hall 5 in May, then Town Hall 6 in June, and it sort of went on like that, and it was 5v5. It was one. It was one of my favourite periods. It was so good. That's when I got into sort of the competitive stuff. I created an account because they told us to in March. We created an account, got it to Town Hall 5, and then through the month I farmed it up to Town Hall 6. And I got that all the way through to, I don't know, about like, I think I got to Town Hall 9 with it. Sorry, max Town Hall 8, and then then I couldn't keep up. I couldn't do it in a month. That was brilliant.
If I remember correctly, it was specifically leading up to the Town Hall, or the release of either Town Hall 12 or Town Hall 13.
I think so, yeah, it was one of the two.
So obviously that is a specific, I want to say, marketing campaign that it was designed to lead up to a specific release of a new Town Hall. And it was fortunate. In fact, it had to be Town Hall 12 because that came out in December, which was the 12th month. It was Town Hall 13 that came out in December? I don't know. I've lost track at this point. So it was basically leading up to, Lady B said leading up to Town Hall 13.
Yeah.
So it was obviously specifically a gimmick leading up to a brand new Town Hall. Like, okay, once we got to Town Hall 11, 12, what was after that? So it was meant to generate excitement for a new content update. But I know a lot of people had fun doing it.
It was so much fun.
It really was. And it was fun to watch. But also keep in mind that this really isn't a good excuse. But a lot of these tournaments, a lot of these events, they're not hosted by or not promoted by Supercell directly. So we work with partners on these, even though we're the official sponsor or the official brand behind it. We work with our partners to do this, and we rely on some of the ideas they come up with. Now, it would be cool for a future if we did a Town Hall 15 to do something like that again, starting from Town Hall 5, Town Hall 6, even though it's not 14 months or not 13 months in a year. It would be fun to do something like that, a lead up to it again. So it is something like I'd like to keep in the back pocket for a future use.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. We've just had Bernal drop me a follow, which is awesome. Welcome, Bernal. Sorry, everyone else that's here. Also, welcome to you as well. Hi. But Bernal's timing is perfect because the next question is about Legends League, and Bernal on Twitter is one of the most vocal people about the problems with Legends League. I'm going to throw out a little bit of premise on this one, Darian. I absolutely love the Operation Blue Sky, the changes to Legends League from what it was, where it was all based on who was online the longest, and sitting in... I played the game totally differently. I'd turn the sound up on my game, I'd leave my iPad running, spinning in the clouds. I'd go off, I could go and have a shower, come back. Oh, time for an attack. You played the game totally differently when you were doing that. Now it's you go on and you do your hit. So I love that concept with it, but it's not without its issues. We saw Itsu post recently, and he talked about it a little bit when he was on the show here as well. Itsu talks about taking a break from Legends because he's just done in with the win trading. Now he did say that just before. You guys have just gone through a big massive ban wave and got rid of a whole load of people. But have you got any plans to adjust Legends League to sort of change, deal with win trading, or try and address it a bit more proactively than just, we think you've done lots of win trading, now you're banned?
Like modding and botting. So there's a saying that, when you build a better mousetrap, the universe will always build a better mouse. Meaning, no matter how complex of a system we come up to detect certain things, there is always going to be someone who finds a way around it. We could set up all the best security measures in the world to detect botting and modding, and someone's always going to come up with a better bot or a better mod. Well, those who win trade, we can't monitor their external chats. We can't, monitor their Discord channels. All we can do is look at certain behaviors in the game. Should we respond a lot faster? Yes. It does take time to verify certain things, though. Because if, let's say we see one person doing a very specific behavior, if we were to catch that one person before his behavior spreads to other people, that gives him time to change his behavior and adopt it to something else. So it's there has to be a certain strategic way we deal with it. Um, there's never going to be an ideal way to predict whether or not someone is going to win trade or not. It's something that we sometimes may have to do only reactively, because we can't predict whether when someone clicks their attack button and they get paired against someone, we can't preemptively determine, they already have an arrangement with someone. Like there's just no way for us to tell that. We're not precogs. We're not able to read the future, and we're not definitely going to go into monitoring every single person's social media and chats. It's not a feasible thing to do. So we have to rely on what behaviors we see taking place in the game. Now we need to get better at catching those patterns, but as soon as we catch them, they're just going to come up with another way of doing it. So it's always going to be a game of, like I said, building a better mousetrap. They're just going to build a better mouse. So we build another better mousetrap. They're just going to build a better mouse.
Yeah. So when I've chatted to people on stream about this and the frustrations of that, any solution we've come up with, we've also managed to work out a workaround for that. I mean, like the really obvious one is remove players' names, for example, so that you can't see who you're attacking to attack. But then immediately we're like, well, someone will just have, I'll put a cross in the corner of my base that looks like this, and then you know that it's my base. You put they sacrifice 5 walls and they make a sign that people know, or the sweeper's always in a certain location. So actually there's ways around it. So yeah. Time to Clash has said, catching cheats is easy. Anytime they triple me, they must be cheating.
Yep, I agree with that
one. Yeah, must be. Godblin has said something repeatedly, which every time I've read it, I've not understood it, Godblin, so you might need to explain this a little bit more. He says, quality of life, friendly war, less limited donations, and super troop donations. Is that for Clan Castle donations, do you mean, Godlin? Does it mean that you've got 5v5, you want more people to be able to, almost like, I think he means like CWL, you've got, in CWL, anyone from the clan can throw troops into Clan Castles. So you've only got 5 players, you want to try and fill a CC with 45 archers. It's really difficult to do when you've only got 5 players. Is there plans to change that as a quality of life? Yeah, Godlin, yeah, just esports, yeah.
That's actually an interesting question. Part of the strategy behind the esports thing is being able to play the game exactly as everybody else does, without a different set of rules. So if we do change how the Clan Castle works, it's not really an exact representation of the game itself. No, that's just my knee-jerk answer. The higher level dev stuff, to be honest, I just don't know.
Yeah. So, because I know that, one of the questions I saw on Twitter was people asking about being able to do a friendly war at the same time as a normal war, and I've seen that you've answered that question before and said basically it's a programming issue that the players can't be in. Supercell CWL is the only time that's able to happen because of the way that the war is treated in behind the scenes in the programs. So, and I assume it's something similar to that.
I'm not a programmer, so I couldn't say with any sense of confidence. Like, I get lost in spreadsheets, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to scout through and see if we've missed any. Guys, if you want to put in questions, then go for it. But it's going really quick, so I'm missing these questions.
You got me for another. I'm already 15 minutes over, but I'll stay for another 10 more minutes.
Yeah, we might be out. Has a most competitive disliking? Yeah, so a lot of the stuff we're seeing is stuff that people have covered already, which is pretty good. Wait, I've got another one here.
Ooh, the API.
Yeah, go for it. If you spot one you like, answer it, Darian. Go for it.
Okay. So the API, we understand that the API is the backbone of the war community and even just the technical community. We understand that. We also know that it needs a lot of love. Oh, Judo! Judo's in here. Hi, Judo. I miss you, dude. Really quick, Judo, I might be in London for Christmas. If I am, hopefully we can hang out. I miss you, dude.
I now might be in London for Christmas. Just
If you're in London for Christmas, dude, I would love to hang out.
We're having a meetup. That's happening.
I,
Also, that's
I
when Darian and Judo are doing a like mixed martial arts sort of fight or something. Is that not what's happening? I'm sure that's happening. I'm sure we agreed to that earlier on. My memory's fuzzy, Darian.
I told the guy who makes the Clash wiki, because he lives in Camden in London, that I owe him a hangout dinner anyway. So if I do end up going for Christmas in London, like, yeah, if there's any Londonians or anything like that, dude, please let me know. And we'll try to get some kind of like organized hangout together. It'd be really cool to live stream that too.
Awesome. So Nedstar has every one of these, Nedstar's talking about basically redoing London Live. He wants that to happen again. So yeah, so there we go. Once COVID's out the way, sorted. THC, I think, has just asked you something in Finnish. I hope he's not swearing at you, but I don't know what that's.
Something in Helsinki. Kasvisruopaikka. Kasviruokapaikka. Sorry. Puhun vähän suomea. Anteeksi. I said I speak only a little Finnish, so I have no idea what that meant. Sorry. Sorry. Really, let me finish the API question really quick.
Sorry, go for it.
So we do know that the API is the backbone of so many different communities, whether it's the farming community, the war community. We know it needs a lot of love. In fact, it's been brought up multiple times during our daily status meetings. We know it's something that we need to address. We've got a few things that we're working on first. It's something that one of our server programmers needs to do. It's just a matter of finding, like I said, time is the one resource we never have enough. And our programmers are the ones who are the most demanded of on the team. So it's just a matter of, can you sit down and find the time to actually do it? But we know the API is in need of a lot of love.
Cool. That's awesome. I think we're going to round it up there because I have kept you for a lot longer than you. We're getting loads and loads. The questions have once again turned into quality of life suggestions. By all means, Darren, you can watch this back and have a look and just troll it for ideas all the way through. But
really, really quick, something
go on then. Finish on a banger. Go for it.
When we mentioned the Worlds about the online event and what the plans for next year are, if we plan on doing more online events, we are looking at what we plan on doing for next year's 4 World Championships. We've got some plans that are in the works. When we're not ready to announce them just yet. We are still going to have the online finals this year. We really wanted to have it offline. We had this big plan for hosting this big offline championship. Unfortunately, COVID is a reality. We can't do it. But hopefully we'll be able to do it in the near future. But we do have plans for the esports next year. When we get ready to announce those, we'll make sure everybody's aware of what the plans are.
Amazing. By all means, if you want to come back on to do that, I'm okay with that. You know, I can be your esports voice. I'm okay with that. I'm good like that. Darian, thank you for being on, and
Thank you for having me.
I'm still amazed that you've come on my show. Thank you so much, man.
Pleasure.